Okay, who are the Ravens playing the Super Bowl? We have to break it down from total championships. Now, I've broken it down from the total amount of NFL championship games the Ravens have played. They're 6-7 in NFL championship games because they are the old Browns. The Browns of today are the fake Browns. They're an expansion team, so that history of the old Browns went to Baltimore. The winning of that franchise carried over to Baltimore. That's what happened when we're making that distinction. So this 8-5 for the Browns is really part of the Ravens' new history. And so this would be the Ravens' 11th championship game in total, including their time in the All-American Football Conference. Jared Goff is number 16. That's very interesting. The Ravens can be 11-5 in championships if they win the championship this year. Looking at either the Packers, the Ravens, or the Eagles. The Eagles is a great matchup, but they may want a different team this year. The Packers could play in their 19th NFL championship game against Lamar Jackson. Jackson is gematria of 19. Now, Jackson is gematria of Packers in three different ciphers. So this remains very interesting. Maybe the Packers make the biggest move of the offseason and, are they a front runner? But then it's really Lamar Jackson. So that's another way of looking at those three ciphers. Packers were established in year 19. 1919 adds up to 20, reduces to 2. 11-2 is 13. 13-8 is 21. And 21 reduces to 3. So if it is Packers in the Super Bowl, the Ravens are winning their third Super Bowl title against a team that was founded on a 3-day. Detroit Lions, 1930 reduces to 13, reduces to 4. 12 is 3, that's 7. 7-7 is 14 for the Detroit Lions. So like I said, the old Browns were 4-7 in NFL championship games. The Browns never made it to a Super Bowl, both as the old Browns and the new Browns. The Ravens 2-0 in the Super Bowl, so the Ravens are 6-7 in NFL championship games outside of their time in the All-American Football Conference. So the Ravens' 14th championship game can happen against a team that was founded on a 14-5 day. And of course, Lamar has 5 playoff losses. The Ravens are 1-5. The famous number 5 of the Ravens, Joe Flacco, can lose 3 games against the Ravens to be part of the script for the Ravens to come back and win the division. So overall, and the Eagles are just a very juicy matchup. What can you say? They do appear weaker. They don't want rematches every single year. So that's kind of the caveat against an Eagles-Ravens matchup, even though it's a very intriguing matchup. The Ravens traded to the 32nd pick. They got it from the Philadelphia Eagles, so that's another plot twist. And here's the interesting thing about the Packers is July the 8th in 1933, 3-3 is 6, and that's 16, that's 7, and basically the 22nd playoff win for the Ravens can happen against a team that was founded on a 22-day in numerology. 22 is a master number like 11, so it doesn't reduce, so that's very intriguing. And that has me thinking it could be the Eagles. It all depends on final win-loss records, overall win-loss records. So we're not going to get there until December, obviously, the end of January. But here, 7th NFL Championship game appearance, Lamar's 7th playoff win. The Lions, they played in 4 previous NFL Championship games against the Ravens of today, a.k.a. the old Browns. They faced off against the old Browns in in 4 previous NFL championship games. That remains very, very, very interesting. So, the NFL championship. So there's 2 matchups there. The old Browns are 0-2 against the Lions. And then 1-2. The old Browns are 1-3 against the Lions in NFL championship games. So the Ravens, old Browns, they played in 4 NFL championship games. So this could be the Super Bowl. It could be. If the Lions face off against the Packers in the playoffs, the Lions are going to win. The Lions are going to have that moment when they do beat the Packers if they face off in the playoffs 100%. You can make a case for either 3 matchup. The Eagles could appear weak and suddenly turn it up in the postseason. The Packers have intriguing numbers for their total NFL championship table. Numbers to pay attention to, like the 19th appearance in a championship game against Lamar Jackson. The Detroit Lions could appear in a championship game 68 years later, and championship is 68. And then the Philadelphia Eagles with that 22-day numerology and this juicy Eagles-Ravens matchup. What is going to separate one team from the 3 teams? What's going to be the separator? Combined championship game appearances? Perhaps. If Ravens go 3-0 in the Super Bowl, Eagle is 30. The trade with the Cowboys, if you are the Green Bay Packers, and then lose to the Ravens as the Ravens are 3-0 in the Super Bowl. Eagle is 24. They could fall to 2-4 in the Super Bowl. I think they did win the 105th season last year. Pack is 77. Ravens can be 7-7 in NFL championship games. That's very, very interesting. Pack is 13. Ravens first title in 13 years. Philadelphia, 13 colonies, yada, yada, yada. They got Jared Goff from LA. Jared Goff is from the Bay. Jordan Love from Bakersfield, California. Levi's Stadium, 46, and Micah Parsons got a $46 million contract, of course, in the off season. Packers last made a Super Bowl when they beat Chicago in the NFC Championship game. Jordan Love has 2 ciphers that equal Jackson, 116 and 44. Is Lamar Jackson only allowed to beat a quarterback that's black? Just like Jalen Hurts only beat a quarterback that's got some black descent. Is this a white supremacist ritual? We about to find out. You can make a case for either 3 teams. Lions, Ravens, old Browns has the old championship history. And then the Ravens' first title came against the Giants in the old Cleveland Clowns They did play against the Giants in a couple of playoff games. And so the Ravens for a Super Bowl title came against a team that had some history. You know, they're the old Browns, and well, there's the Colts right there. I think it's playoff game history, 1950s. They did play in a playoff game against the old Browns. I know they did. I know they did. But the old history of the Cleveland Clowns belongs now to the Ravens. The Packers in that 14th championship we speak about, going for a 14th championship. The Super Bowl is 14 weeks after Jordan Love's birthday. Can't forget that. That is all we got. I'll try to narrow it down. Think I'm leaning Lions for. Yeah, that 22 connection with the Eagles is a very, very big discovery. Eagle is 21. Ravens get to the Super Bowl with 21 wins. You can make your case for either three of these teams to represent the NFC against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens.